Well,
Well,
welcome to the Chasing Ebenezer show, Dog Days of Summer bonus.
yes.
Why do they call it the Dog Days of Summer?
I don't really know.
Was there like a dog who had a day at the end of summer? I don't know.
I'm pretty sure every dog has its day at the end of summer.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to do one more just summer
random
chat, random
bonus
summer
chat. Yeah.
summer bonuses. So
Yeah. I'm Benjamin, and this is Heidi.
otherwise known as Gabriel.
Yep.
Gabriel Sadler.
Yep. And this is a tongue drum. It is a smaller version of what you would call a hang drum. You see some of those online, and it's called a tongue drum. You didn't know that?
Do I look like I knew that?
No.
Why?
Because these little things are called tongues.
Well, you learn something new every day. I thought it was a pan drum.
I don't think so. I'll double check. I'll fact check it, but I'm pretty sure.
No, let's
it's called a tongue
let's just keep calling it a tongue drum. You're
tongue
probably
drum.
right.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about things. It's nice to be back. Thank you so much. Ben's recovered from a COVID episode.
Yes, I did. I thought it was over. I thought it was done. I was even sitting where I got it and thinking to myself, well, there might be COVID here. But, and then a week later, apparently there was.
So, yes, this is our first day with maskless
Yeah,
again.
we're maskless.
I was I'm not getting it if I can help it.
She didn't get it, which was really cool.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're happy to be, we had to postpone.
We had to cancel a gig.
All because of you.
Yeah, I know. And big thank you to those who had to step in for me on Sunday morning. You know who you are. Super grateful. Yeah. So, what are you excited about?
I am excited because we have central air and it works, and
we got it just before the big heat wave.
I know. And it's energy efficient.
We got our power bill.
It was less.
Low. Oh my gosh.
Than with like the other thing we were using in the one room. And so I am very grateful.
Very, very grateful. Yeah.
Don't freeze me out though. I don't like to be chilly.
And I have control on my phone because there's an app for it.
What?
I haven't been messing with it. I've been very good about it. So, yeah. I'm excited to not have COVID anymore. I didn't think that was something I could be excited about again, but I am. The other thing I'm really excited about. Okay, so while I was in isolation and on bed rest,
TV.
I watched a lot of TV.
Good job.
Which was really good. Apple TV it wins the best streaming channel award for me. I have not watched a bad TV show on Apple TV yet, but I also got to read books. So I finally finished.
What's a book?
It's this thing with paper that you use your imagination, and I finally finished the third book of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. It was really, really good, and it was really long. And I'm currently almost done with the book version of The Meg. If you have seen this, the sequel just came out this summer. I'm a shark nerd, and the movies were based on books that were written before. And I was like, oh, I probably ought to just read the book. And I'm reading the book right now, and I've enjoyed it. It's been so fun.
That is on a list of books I will never read.
Well, I'm trying to, I had to, after reading something as heavy as Wheel of Time, I wanted to read something a little bit more fast paced, and this one is. And then I'm going to read No Country for Old Men next.
Oh,
so
man.
I liked the movie, but I wanted more stories. So I'm hoping that the book it was written about. Oh, another thing about books. Let me just say this.
What's the other thing
I think there's a rule I'm going to create for my life that I'm not going to follow. You ever do that where you're like, you say, I'll never do that again, and then you do it? Yep. I think as a general rule, if a book is being made into a TV series, I want to read all of the books first. Because I realize that when I watch a TV show and then I go read a book, I'm immediately picturing the actor as the character.
Well, are you distinguishing between a TV show and a movie?
Both and.
Both and?
Okay, so for example, all right, the benefit of me reading The Meg right now is the fact that It's been a while since I've seen the movie.
Okay, yeah, you took yourself to that movie.
I did. And
I like some shark movies, but
it was worth seeing on the big screen. It was so worth seeing on the big screen.
Sharks, I'm like, it
was very
depends. It
entertaining.
depends.
And I'm gonna watch the movie again, even though I really love the book. So I can't. The main character in the movie is played by Jason
Stamos, right?
Yeah, Statham. I think his name is. I'm sorry if I got
Jason.
your name wrong.
Is it what? It's Statham, I think, because I'm thinking John Stamos.
Yeah, it's not John Stamos.
No, I know
it's
who
the dude
John
in the
Stamos
Expendables.
is.
Okay, and he's great. He's fun, super fun to watch. But reading this book, I can't not picture him as the main character. So I realized that my imagination kind of gets hijacked in advance, and so I want my imagination to do its own thing.
So you want to read the books first.
And have my own picture of the characters.
And have your own picture, so then you can criticize the movie afterward.
Well, that's a side
TV
benefit, so I can look smart. But no. So anyway, all that to say, I haven't been around people for a while, so I'm just excited to be talking to you and everyone else. I'm excited about the books I'm reading. Yeah. What about your humanity? Okay. That's what your humanity sounds like.
Oh man. Oh, good gravy. No, but here's the thing though. Like I shouldn't have that reaction. I did though. That was an honest reaction.
You did. That was a very honest reaction.
Here's the thing though, is there's nothing wrong with being a human though. So I shouldn't be like, oh, but it's been interesting. It's been an interesting summer. I think, well, here's what I'll say. I'm trying to learn to not always be negative. Well, that's part of humanity. I can just be so negative. So negative.
I know. So can I.
I think you should take this away from me. I think I need to part with it. So we've had to very unexpectedly rushed get my dad's house cleaned out for to sell, and it's on the market right now. So if you're looking for a house in the greater Portland area and listening to this in the middle of August 2023, is available with a grand piano, by the way. So having to go through so quickly, so many items from childhood and of my mom, and not really be able to like do it at a pace that I feel like is a healthy pace. It's just so grief laden. But here's where I'm going to be positive. I have found some really sweet things that she saved and like some photos that were just great. So it's been good to also have those positive memories. And by having to do things so quickly, it's not like I've been able to hem and haw.
That's true.
So
it's forced you to make decisions.
It's forced decision making.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so grief is part of our journey as being human. It's not always very much fun.
No.
But
well, I mean, other than being sick for me, we put our sweet cat Punky down about.
I know. We told you guys it was going
right
to.
Before
I
it
know.
happened. It happened.
I know.
And oh man, it has sucked. You know, I grew up having pets around my whole life, and this is the first time, not counting college, where I don't have a pet around, and so feeling that absence and feeling specifically and you said this too, that it made you miss Mowgli too.
Oh yeah,
and
for
I've
some
noticed that
reason, I
as
don't
well.
know, I missed him more now that she's gone too. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's been you know,
Yeah.
if you're pet people, you understand.
If you're not, then you don't understand us.
It's okay.
And
it's okay. You can just learn from us and get cats. So yeah, so I've been feeling, you know, thankfully I was really depressed, like really depressed this month, and what got me out of it, honestly, was intentionally hanging out with some people and being honest about it. So yeah. I had coffee with my friend Andrew a couple weeks ago, and that was a big turning point for me. Andrew's a good dude. You should get to know him. But
Andrew is also a patron of ours.
he's a patron.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
So when you feel bad, hang out with your patrons, and it's just great. So anyway, our show for today, our last bonus episode, is going to be talking about what happens a lot during summer, which is COVID. No, traveling. We're going to talk about traveling.
Oh, I think so.
That's what we're talking about, right?
Well, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Traveling and
anything else
maybe
that comes
other
up
things that might come up
from this non-oiled machine.
Exactly.
So one of the things that I don't know if I told the story or not before, but you're just gonna hear it again. Because I lived in Romania when I was in high school. We would go to a lot of other European countries because they're so close. And so one year, I'm pretty sure it was summer because I remember it being hot. We went to Greece. And my mother loved to make spectacles of us. There was no attempt to blend in. It was like, I'm a tourist and I want everyone to know it, as if they couldn't already tell. So we went to the Greek Colosseum. Yes, because the Roman Colosseum is in Italy and you could not, yes, not the same situation. Yeah, it is the Greek Colosseum where the Olympic Games happened. Anyway, the details. I'm not a detail person. So there's we go and we're standing on the floor of the track and looking at this ancient place, and there's people from all over the world there, and I'm a teenager and I just want to be cool. I just want to blend in. And so my mom's like, "You girls need to run around the Olympic the stadium." I'm like, what? She's like, no, you need to run around this. When else are you going to be here? And then who else can say that they ran the track at where the Olympics took place in the ancient times? And my mom was so persuasive. And I was like, oh.
I would say forceful more so than persuasive.
So I was like, fine, she's right, but this is so embarrassing. So my sister and I ran the track one lap at the Greek thing. So I can say that I did it, but I still feel super embarrassed 30 years or 20 or whatever long ago it was. And she'd be like, see, aren't you glad you did it? I'm like, okay, fine, but it's so embarrassing.
Well, I mean, it did fuel story for this show, so at least that because so that was always her thing, is one day aren't you gonna just be like, shoot, I let embarrassment keep me from doing something special. So I guess she was right, but well, when I was a kid, we I think because St. Thomas is still a part of America, right? It's the Caribbean.
I don't know. Are you asking if it's a U.S. territory?
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
Well,
you probably should have looked that up.
I should have. Anyway, up until I was 22, the farthest I'd ever gone was to St. Thomas, which that was a very fun trip. It was beautiful. That's not what my story's about.
You just revealed that we don't know anything about U.S. territories.
Well, that's what these web shows are. They just reveal how much we don't know. And that's okay.
I love it. They say all the time I listen to the Gilmore Girls rewatch episode with Scott Patterson, I'm all in, and they always say, I was today years old when I learned. Well, we still don't know. I'm assuming it still is. So
I'm sure you're
apologize
right.
to the people of St. Thomas that we're not positive on U.S. territories.
I'm just sorry to everyone in case I offend anyone.
All the time.
So when I was 12, I was getting ready to go into middle school.
Was this when you had your long hair? You're
it was
swoopy hair?
It wasn't swoopy. That was 8th grade. No, that was 8th grade.
8th grade.
So my mom and some of her friends' family, we went to Florida to go to Disney World, and I had been looking forward to this trip all year. And there were some fun things about the trip, and there were some not so much fun things about this trip. One of the fun things about the trip was that we went to Nickelodeon Studios. Now, I grew up on Nickelodeon, okay? I watched You Can't Do That on television.
I was not allowed to watch that.
I was allowed to watch pretty much anything as a kid. And so I was excited, and I just thought I was going to go and just see stuff, but I got picked to be an extra on a TV show that was on Nickelodeon, and I got to watch myself on TV a few months later when the show aired.
Wow.
It was a show called Welcome Freshmen. I was in multiple scenes.
Did you look like a high schooler then, probably?
Probably. I was like 13. So, no, I was 12. So,
but
yeah.
you have always looked.
I aged quicker. And who knows? So yeah, that was a really fun experience. And then like we went to the beach and I boogie boarded, which I found out you didn't know what boogie boarding was.
I think it's the way you say boogie boarding that makes me laugh.
Do I say it like bag?
You really draw the word out, like boogie. Instead of saying like
booger, boogie.
It's making me think about you're like boogie. I don't know if I've ever. It's a funny word.
Boogie? It is a funny word. What are some funny words you know? Yeah, boogie is a funny word.
It's not like a little boogie. The way you're... See, that's how I'm thinking, a little boogie. But you're saying like boogie boarding.
It's where you lay on a half board.
Do a little boogie, but that... I know what it is. It's like
you know what it is now.
I was trying to remember, because I was thinking of paddle boarding. I'm like, no, that's when you're standing. Boogie boarding is like when you like you're like this, right?
I'm just gonna let you finish. I don't know.
What? No, make sure I know.
Yes, that's pretty.
It's like you're floating like a dead man's float.
Right, but you're holding on to like a board.
A board.
But it's not a full body board.
Okay,
it's a half board.
Here's the thing. Why are we calling it boogie boarding? Because you're not doing a boogie. On the board. Were you doing a boogie on the board?
No.
So why do we call it boogie board?
That was the summer that I was like scared of like everything, including roller coasters. And so the fact that I did boogie boarding in the ocean was an act of bravery on my end. And I had a lot of fun. It was super fun. And I didn't get eaten by a shark. So that's like one major trip as a kid I remember in the summer.
And you did a little boogie at the end. I don't know why that. I don't know why that word is cracking me up today. You know why? I think part of it too is you're such a serious person so much of the time. So to hear you say such a silly word is just cracking me up. Are you gagging me for my gag?
Yes.
Okay, fine. All right, TV star. I thought you were going to talk about St. Thomas. So why are we talking about St. Thomas?
No, it was just my train of thought.
Okay, so...
My parents were not like shenanigan people.
What does that mean?
Okay, your mother created shenanigans wherever she went. My parents didn't. So as we were thinking about like childhood memories, I'm like, well, there wasn't anything... Like, we went on vacation, but there was no like incident.
We were an incident. We were a European incident.
I mean, National Lampoon over here. So, I mean...
It's so true. It's so true. Oh, man. My mom's name was Cheryl, so we should have called her Cheryl...
What's that?
Cheryl Nanigans? Cheryl Nanigan?
Sure.
That's really hard to say. Try to say it.
Cheryl Nanigan.
It's the L sound and the N. Cheryl Nanigan. Like when she...
I'm from Virginia. I'm used to saying weird words. So you were mentioning our travel across the country when we moved here. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Well, it was rough. Let me tell you, it was rough.
There were some shenanigans.
There was some shenanigans.
Quite a few.
Well, we were driving separately.
I was driving the moving truck, pulling my Jeep. And you had this wonderful, fanciful idea of, oh, our cats are so well behaved.
Well, they were.
Both of them.
They had been in the car in the past.
We don't need to put them in a carrier.
They had been.
Let's just let them roam in the car.
They had been in the past.
So what happened, honey?
Well, on the freeway, they were crawling under my foot pedals and then up on the dashboard, and there was nowhere for me to pull over.
This was
and
in
I
West
was
Virginia
falling
in the
asleep at the
mountains at
wheel.
1 a.m..
So it was rough.
Rough.
It was rough.
Rough. Our cats made that trip, at the very least, eventful and entertaining.
Well, and then I didn't even think about getting them like calming medication, and it was too late. And then so for like days.
Yeah, they were. Well, then eventually, I think we separated them. I think Mowgli. Eventually, Punky stayed in the car with you, and Mowgli was in the van with me. He got to ride in the big boy seat.
I blocked so much of it out.
Yeah.
It was just like a block.
Well,
it was horrible.
what-
And driving through cornfields for days alone with myself and like a
well,
upset cat.
we had a walkie-talkie to which you would always get on and be like, "Oh, remember this when we did this in Virginia? Remember?" You were worrying about 1,000 things that we were leaving behind.
It was a big move, and then you got tired of talking on the walkie-talkie to me, so I felt even more alone.
I did. I'm sorry. Well, one of the things I remember is when we stopped in Nebraska, and I mean these hotels were super nice, letting us keep our cats in there, and so we dropped the cats off in the hotel room, and then we are getting stuff, and then we come back in, and it's like, "Where's Mowgli?" Which is usually the question we were asking at the time. Where's Mowgli? And the TV was hanging from this little stand, and I believe he was up.
I don't know.
He was peeking out.
There.
He
they
got up there
somehow.
It was just peeking out, so he was very cute and
Well,
very naughty and yeah.
Well, and I don't know. Did I not? I guess audiobooks. I don't know.
They weren't. You had to get CDs. It was back when you were doing CDs.
Why didn't I get audiobooks? I don't know. I just wasn't. I did not prepare. So here's the thing, gang. If you're gonna drive across the country, give us a call. We're gonna give you a list of things to do and not do.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and then like the headlights to the moving van went out.
Oh, yeah.
It was just. It was not the best.
I don't even remember that actually. I didn't only forget
Clearly,
about it. I
we blocked it out. So you did a
yeah.
great job pulling the.
I did.
You only had to back up like one time.
That was the
with
first night, and it was.
you were so stressed out.
That was an incident. That was a shenanigan.
How was
a
it
Cheryl Nanigan. I was trying to.
You did a great job.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving across the country,
That was a fun trip.
Make sure you.
But when it was fun to drive because to see all the land change and then like getting into Wyoming. The one thing I remember about Wyoming, it was windy and there was no place to pull over to use the bathroom. That's what I remember. Wow. Because I drink a lot of coffee and I drive, so therefore, Wyoming was a little bit of a challenge for me. Anyway.
Thank you for sharing that portion of your life with us.
Yeah. Any other traveling stories on your end?
Well, I was going to talk about. We were going to talk about in Bend a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah, our recent. So we travel a lot now because not so much to go on vacation. We travel to go to work, and we got to be in Bend last month. And this was like the same week we put Punky down, so we were all sad and grieving. And so we unofficially have our cat has died tradition, which is we go to an alpaca farm. Very strange that this is now a tradition. But so we did one here, but we were driving to Redmond, I believe. And we just passed it on the way, and you and I were both kind of feeling bummed out. We didn't have much to do, and Heidi's like, "Why don't we stop at the alpaca farm?" I was like, "Yeah." So it was pretty much that, and we pulled over. It was a huge farm, and we showed up right on time for a newborn. Like had literally just been born.
All slimy.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
To watch the whole community of alpacas gather around.
All these, yeah.
And lick the fur,
clean them off,
and give them space to learn how to walk, nudge and help where needed. And one of them was getting really mad at us because we were close. And it was like its nostrils were flaring and like puffing. I'm like, okay, we'll stay away.
But it was like, and then all these humans are like waiting and trying to like cheer this little thing on
because we think that's going to help. But yeah,
I think it helped.
Well. I know that when people are watching me, I get performance anxiety.
Are you an alpaca?
No.
So how do you know?
You're right. Good point.
But it really was. And it's like 20 minutes. This little thing's like
flailing. I mean, it was amazing. It was a really beautiful thing. And just to see how I don't think any of those alpacas were trained to be community.
I highly doubt it.
You know what I mean? It's like they didn't take like how
class.
They didn't take the class about how to be nice to people and not to be a tool. They just naturally, there's the way they were created, that's in their DNA. And so I was just thinking about that. I was like, wow, they don't even have to be taught how to do this, and I feel like I need empathy lessons.
And then once the little calf was finally, I think that's what you call it, he was up, everyone started cheering. It was just really sweet.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful, very healing, very beautiful.
And I think alpacas too, especially the ones with the funny, when their teeth are all, when you feed them, their teeth are enormous. But yeah, if you've never been to an alpaca farm, it's just so fun.
Wonderful.
And their eyes are just amazing.
Yeah,
so
they're amazing.
So that was a fun
So that was a really
fun
trip.
surprise summer.
Yeah, we done that, and then
thing.
we went to Smith Rock. I think before that, and went hiking around Smith Rock, where if you watch our band photos and stuff, you'll notice that our first round of ever real professional band photos were taken at Smith Rock. Thank you, Alex Hoxie.
And Brian for the idea and the plan.
But it was really cool to kind of go there, not getting a photo taken, but to like just go and explore.
Oh, yeah. It was really
cool. Yeah. And hot.
And hot, yeah. Do you have any more? Or is this the end of our follies?
I think this is the end of our follies. We should probably talk about prompts next. So.
Oh. Well, why don't you create something based on a summer travel story? Or the phrase dog days of summer.
That's your prompt, the dog days of summer.
That
could make its way into it could be a really good blues song.
Oh, it's the dog days of summer. And I'm singing the alpaca blues. Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you know this.
Blues.
We're not extremely scripted.
I rehearsed that many times.
Did you?
How dare you?
I'm
How
sorry.
dare you?
Yes,
there you go.
And if you can't travel right now, let's say just work does not permit you to be able to do that, or you have COVID and you're having to be socially isolated, read a book that takes place somewhere that you haven't been before. That could be a really good prompt.
What a nice idea.
Yeah.
What a nice, or read the Meg, and then start a
read the Meg.
Read the Meg and start a book chat with Ben.
I would highly recommend that. So I was like, it's like the Wheel of Time. I got to the end of the Wheel of Time. I was like, okay, I'm definitely going to read the next book. I need to take a break. I'm going to get to the end of this one. I was like, I definitely am going to read the next book, but I need to take a break. So.
Are we doing a song?
Yes, we are.
We are doing a song.
It is a sort of traveling song. It's what is it? Sloop B. What is it called? It's a sea shanty. I know that. It's not boogie. So what is it?
This very famous song that is a traditional song, but the Beach Boys, first the Kingston Trio, I think recorded, made it made it popular, and then the Beach Boys, who you might have heard of.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of them. Yeah.
The Sloop Jumpy, but no, it was a traditional song first.
Okay, I was close. I got the first word right, and that's like the most important one.
To me, that would be like calling Sarah Jessica Parker Sarah Parker. You'd be like, who?
All right.
Sarah Jessica Parker. Hey, things that you found. Wait, now I forgot the phrase.
What's that?
I was today years old. Ben, I don't know a lot of things. I'm just giving you a hard time.
I know. I'm not. Do I look offended?
Maybe you are a good actor at not looking offended.
Also,
and
I'm not a good actor.
You're really offended.
So anyway, we're gonna play the song for you and enjoy creating, and we'll see you soon.
Come on the sloop, jumpy, my grandfather and me. Around Nassau town we did a roll, drinking all night. We got into a fight, I feel so broken, I wanna go home. So hoist up the jumpy sails, see how the mainsail says. Call for the captain ashore and let me go home. Oh, let me go home. Let me go home. I feel so broken, I wanna go home. First mate he got drunk, break up the people's trust. Constable had to come and take him away. Sheriff Johnstone, leave me alone. I feel so broken and I wanna go home. So hoist up the junkie sail, see how the mainsail sail. Call for the captain ashore, let me go home. Oh, let me go home. Let me go home. My face so broken, then I wanna go home. Then he went and he ate up all of my corn. Sheriff Johnstone, leave me alone. That is the worst trip that I ever been on. So hoist up the jumpy sails, see how the mainsail sails. Call for the captain ashore, won't you let me go home? Oh, won't you let me go home? Let me go home.